How is everyone doing today? It is September 8th of 2023. Really excited to show another tomato video. We have had a bad season this year. We've been down on everything. So anytime I get anything that's worth showing, I would like to do a video on it, but I want everybody to know our grows are never optimal. We cluster garden. We do everything on the fly kind of. So we're not professionals at all, but we would like to show what we do have going. And as every other year, our growths are never optimal. That's more true than this year than it's been in any other year. But this is the Dwarf Mocha's cherry. This entire plant is our second year growing it. It's about 3.5, maybe 4 foot tall. They usually don't get this tall. It's one of the smaller dwarf size, and you can see right here, it's one of the anthocyanin varieties too. I talked about the anthocyanin variety a little bit in my last video, which was about the black beauty. Anthocyanin is the dark substance that comes in blackberries and blueberries, others fruits like that, and it sometimes shows up in tomatoes. The black beauty has a lot of anthocyanin. The Sart Rollois has a little bit, even though it's a yellow tomato. Anytime you see a deep purple, almost indigo black kind of color on a tomato, that's usually an anthocyanin high tomato. This one right here is almost like a mini black beauty tomato, though. It's got a lot of it in there. The anthocyanin, it gets stronger and stronger and stronger the more light saturation, so that this side wasn't facing the light. Sun's been hitting on this side and not on that side right there. That's a little bit of blemishing. These have started to split. They've been on the vine ready to go for a couple weeks now.
And we've also still been getting tons of rain, so that doesn't help when it comes to the splitting either.
Yeah, we had a really weird August. Usually our Augusts compete for July in heat, sitting at around 95 degrees, but I don't think we hit hardly 85 at all for the entire month of August. Plus we were having these crazy flash rains about every day. It would be a normal warmish day, about 80-85 degrees all through August, and then about middle of the day it would be, I'd say, around 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon, we just get some flash flood level raining. But this is an excellent tomato. It's our second year growing it. Angela was really excited about putting this tomato up in our lineup again this year. We usually try to grow 7 dwarfs just because it sounds cool to grow 7 dwarfs. This is the Dwarf Mocha cherry, though. We got the seeds via Victory Seeds. They make dwarf plants that are really easy to grow for small container gardens, and absolutely love this one. If it tastes anything like it did last year, it has a really kind of a smoky-ish flavor to it, even than anthocyanin. You can see how this one right here is green on this side, where it's not getting the light, and this one over here. So let me show you the black beauties really quick. I thinned this plant out right here so that all of this was getting sun, and look at how much of the anthocyanin shows up, or the dark color in that tomato right there. Wherever they're not hitting the light, they turn out to be a little more red. So a lot of times you'll see the shoulders up on top and then maybe a little bit of red on the bottom. But this is an excellent small variety dwarf tomato, even small for a dwarf variety, and really excellent flavor if it's anything like last year, and the reason we wanted to grow it again. It's the Dwarf Mocha's cherry, September 8th of 2023. Let's take this inside and have a better look. Love you guys. Catch you in a second. All right, so this is the Dwarf Mocha's cherry tomato. Really excellent tomato. Super happy to have this one in the yard. I'm happy for any variety. We're a sucker for cool names and cool flavors and cool plants, and just anything that kind of keeps the furnace going for us to get excited for and see something unique. So I'm hoping that these are, this one feels like it's pretty ripe. Cut it this way. See, tomatoes like this are generally, the cherry tomatoes to me, are generally good for snackers out in the yard. This one actually has a pretty thick tomato though, so it would be a pretty big bite to eat these like a snack out in the yard. So cutting these in half and throwing them in a salad, or just doing a whole bunch of halves like on a plate like this and then sprinkling some salt on it and something like that would also be a good use for them. This one's got lots of that antho stuff. Really excellent flavor. If you've never had any of the ones, we judge the darker colored tomatoes as black, purple, or chocolate or brown. Um, this one would be one that we put in the black category. And the black category is more the ones that have the anthocyanin in them and a certain flavor profile that's different than like a Cherokee purple or a black trifle or a lot of the other darker colored tomatoes that come in the category. It can be really hard to tell the difference between them based on the name. Like the black trifle to us is a chocolate tomato or a rust colored tomato, whereas in the Cherokee purple is a purple tomato to us. The black crim, we actually consider that a purple tomato, even though it's called the black crim. And this one being a Mocha's cherry, you might assume that it would probably be in the brown category or the chocolate tomato category, but this one we put in the indigo black category because of the high anthocyanin. Um, it's hard to explain the anthocyanin. It does have an almost smoky flavor, but it has. I've been thinking a lot about how to explain the flavor that's in these, and to me, it's almost got like a mild taste of a brandy wine tomato. If you've ever had a brandy wine tomato, they have like a wine flavor to them. That's why they call them the brandy wine, I believe. Is they have like almost a fermented wineish flavor to them, and that's what I get. It's almost like a blackberry-ish kind of flavor to it. Excellent, excellent tomato. I think that we might save seeds on the rest of these, but there's a good chance we're just going to cut these in half. So maybe not a good one. Of course, it's not good for slicing up for burgers. It'd be hard to dice a bunch of these up for like a salsa or anything else like that. But as far as a yard snack, they're a little bit big, so cutting them in half is how we like to have them, just like this. But
It does, to me, have a nice smoky flavor to it. Almost like you put it in a smoker and let it smoke for a few minutes, and then you get that smoky flavor from it. I really like it a lot, though. It's not too acidic, it's mildish, and it's got that smoky flavor, which is really unique.
it's really rich. It's hard to explain. I don't know. Imagine if you ate a blackberry and a tomato at the same time, a red tomato. That's how I would kind of almost describe it in a sense.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe not a red tomato.
I don't know about blackberry at all, really, to me. I mean, it's not that sweet to me, but it is on the sweeter side for a tomato, but it doesn't remind me of a fruity sweet. It's just milder, and I do get the major smoky aftertaste, but everybody's taste is different, so but I do like it because of that.
Yeah, to me, this one's got a pretty strong flavor. It'd be a little bit harder. Personally, I like the milder tomatoes when it comes to cherry tomatoes, and it can be hard to find a mild cherry tomato. A lot of them have like a strong pucker bite to
Yeah,
it
and this
or a
one
super
doesn't.
sweetness to it. This one doesn't quite have that level.
It's like an in
So,
between. It's an in between the really sweet and the strong pucker.
yeah, yeah. But an excellent, excellent tomato. It's the Dwarf Mocha's Cherry, September 8th of 2023, like I was saying. We're not professionals, so everything you see here, I would definitely tell you to research. I would always recommend, if you have never grown this kind, to grow everything once. Our opinion is just our opinion. We're a small family in a small town. We're not professionals. Our grows are never optimal. We make these videos more to just kind of describe to mostly friends and family. I had a good friend of mine tell me one time, just pretend that you're talking to good friends and family whenever you're doing your videos, and that's why I do videos. There's some of my subs and friends on there that if they were the only person to watch my video, I would still continue to do these videos. I just want to not teach you how to grow things or tell you what you should grow. I just want to show you what we're doing and maybe inspire you to give something a try or to research something outside of that. But this is an excellent tomato. I was super happy. Angel picked this one out of the dwarf ones in order to make the yard this year, and I was a little bit leery about it. I was trying to go for more power grows this year, and I'm kind of glad that this one got in here. Look at how dark that is.
And it's really prolific. It produces large clusters of tomatoes. So for such a small plant, you get quite a bit of good, like medium small tomatoes. So
When we view these videos after, when we're uploading them, and also when we're looking at it right now on the camera doesn't do the color justice at all. It's a really, really dark, almost indigo purple black.
yeah, super yummy.
A really good flavor profile to have in tomatoes. This is like the cherry style version of a Black Beauty. Super happy it made the yard. Super productive plant. It starts producing early and just continues to kind of push through our season. We only got about 120 days, about 4 months of growth season where we live at. And this one will, you know, within the first 30-45 days after planting it, starts putting out the tomatoes. And these ones been sitting on here for weeks, and we've already had a couple off of it. But I'll take you out, guys, show you one last look at the plants. The Dwarf Mocha's cherry. A really excellent flavor, and another great anthocyanin indigo variety. All right, so it's kind of fitting that we have a blackberry right here. This is the baby cakes blackberry, but this plant right back here is the Dwarf Mocha's cherry, and it has 2 plants in this one. I think last year we did it in the 5-gallon bucket, single plants, but we put 2 plants in this one bucket. You can see right here next to it, not producing tomatoes for us and probably won't by the end of the year. This is a strawberry lemonade dwarf. And a little bit as comparison, this entire plant comes up to about my chest. This is a dwarf purple heart, Taz chocolate. In the buckets, these ones come up to be as tall as I am. So it's a couple feet smaller than the dwarfs, but all of our dwarfs stretch. They're always so crowded that they kind of stretch to reach for the sun, and like I was saying, they're never optimal grows. But these tomatoes right back in the back area here are our dwarf varieties. You can see how big they get. Not too big. If we were to do like we normally do, and we haven't been able to keep up with this season, we would normally have this a lot trimmed, a lot better, and in a lot better spot, so that it would have a squatter, stronger plant. If you're interested in the dwarf varieties, I would highly suggest you look them up online and take a look. They have a lot of really good varieties. Another great thing about that is like saving the seeds. The ones that are coming from the Dwarf Tomato Project, they're from established seeds or open pollinated. So they're not necessarily 40 or 50-year-old varieties that you would consider heirlooms, but they are ones that if you save the seeds, you're guaranteed to, unless you get a cross in your own yard, we can get a cross from other plants with cluster gardening. But if I save the seeds from this one, I will be getting this one again. So I like to be able to save seeds. It's one of the most important things we do with our yard. We grow so many unique varieties. I want to collect all the different varieties that I possibly can and see them all firsthand. And being able to save the seeds is one of the priorities I have on what I grow. For instance, the Sun Gold tomato back there. One of the reasons I haven't grown it or given it as much respect as it deserves is because of that fact right there. If I save seeds from the Sun Gold, it's from a hybrid variety that's still within its low generational phase, so I won't be getting that kind. I'll most likely be getting something similar, but it'll try to lean back into one of the varieties that it was crossed from. The established cross have been grown out 5 to 8 seasons a lot of times. So when I save the seeds from this one, it'll be this one again, and this one actually comes from our saved seeds from last year's grow. So you can see that there's trundles of tomatoes all around it here, but a really strong plant. If you are on a balcony, it would be perfect. Some of these dwarf varieties, they can get a little bit bigger. Like I was saying, this one right here, it's stretched out longer than it should be. They usually come at about 4 to 5 foot tall. Last year when we had this one, it was only about 3 foot, and now it's out at hitting about 4 foot, where we're hitting about 5 feet on our 5 or 6 feet on our other dwarf ones. But the Dwarf Mocha's cherry, it gets that indigo black color from the high levels of a substance called anthocyanin. A really excellent tomato. I like snacking on this one better than any of the other tomatoes that I've snacked on from the yard, including the black cherry. The black cherry is an excellent cherry tomato, my favorite, but it just has like a potent flavor. So when it comes to coming out here, popping a couple off and just eating some tomatoes fresh from the yard, this is an excellent variety. Doesn't take up much space. Really strong growing plant, and we're super happy to have it in the yard again. I think with the showing it's had last year and this year, it'll be one that we'll save seeds on and grow from again. Look at that. The color doesn't always show up well, but that's pretty good look on the color. So, Uchi Angel and Kiddo, September 8th of 2023, Dwarf Mocha Cherry. Happy to have another one to show you guys. Love you guys, and catch you next time. Thanks for watching.